I fell asleep to this TikTok about some guy that was mad that some female. So he says, I didn't see her flip up nothing, but he was at home. He was watching his Ring camera. And on the camera, some female flipped it over. Well, not on the camera. All we saw was her walking by. And he yelled at her, saying, don't be touching my fucking rug. I guess he had like a rug on his porch, right? That's what I'm assuming. I think he's just harassing her because there was a rug on the apartment across where his camera was facing. And he said, don't be fucking flipping over my rug. You know, I see you doing my rug, whatever. He was cursing at her. So I fell asleep on that TikTok. And so I had this dream. This dream pissed me off so bad. In the dream, I lived in these apartments. There were 3-story apartments, right? The vinyl siding on them was like a light mustard yellow color, right? And I had a Ring camera on my apartment. It kind of reminded me of some apartments that I lived in Atlanta after me and my ex had broken up. I forgot what the name of the apartment, something Lake, Crystal Lake, Cypress Lake, I don't remember. But I'm so mad. So in the dream, I'm in my house, right? And the apartment, in the first part of the dream was huge. It's a huge, huge apartment. I'm like in the dining room bar area of my apartment. Ring camera's on. And, I watch the camera. People passing by, shit like that. And I guess it's time for kids to come home from school. In general, not mine, but for the neighborhood. There's a white teenage girl, maybe 12 or 13, brown hair, short and chubby. She's real cute. Of course, people have been walking by a few times, whatever. And she stops for the Ring camera, and she looks in and she says, and I guess I have a mirror on my door, like a fully mirror on my door in the dream. And she stops and talks to the Ring camera. She says, I hope you don't mind me looking in your mirror. And, I really didn't care. She was checking herself out after school, and she went on about her business. And so I'm relaxing, enjoying a bright, beautiful day. And the apartment's real, really big. Like I said, I'm in the bar area because there's a kitchen that goes out to the patio in my dream in this apartment that goes out to the patio, which overlooks a huge lake, right? And I'm on the other side of the kitchen where there's a bar that kind of splits up the kitchen and the living room. And the living room has another patio in the front that looks out over the apartment complex. Oh, this dream pissed me off so bad. So, so as I'm sitting there, another part of the dream was, it included my little brother, because then the part that was the kitchen turned into like maybe a dining room. And then the kitchen was like to the right when you first came into the apartment now, right? And there were some little chairs, like kiddie chairs by the front door. And now the inside of the front door is painted black. But there were some kiddie chairs by the front door. And there was little kids sitting in them. Like a little Hispanic looking boy, a little white looking girl, and then my brother. And the kids were real young. It looked like they were, I don't know, 3 or 4. Sitting in big puffy bomber coats. So our brother was sitting between them, but he was older, like 8 or 9, wearing a scully. And so in the dream, I'm still my age. So I walked up to the front and I was like, I called my brother by his name. I was like, why are these kids in here like that? And basically he didn't have an answer. They were just his friends or whatever. And so I was like, well, they need to go. They have to leave. So, the little boy, he wasn't trying to go. So he said it looked like Mexican or like he wasn't trying to go. So he said something snide, and I was like, no, you have to go. And so they wouldn't leave. So I just picked him up and started to put him outside the door. And I did that. His little big brother came over. Big brother was a little bit older than my little brother in the dream. He was like 11 or 12. And I was like, no, I'm just telling them they have to leave. They can't be in here like that all day. And then my brother got mad and he huffed out behind him, and I kind of didn't care. So I closed the door and I locked the door and I went about my business. This is my house. I don't know what the whole dynamic of the dream is, but they're at my house. I don't know if they're visiting or what the deal is. So the next thing I know, I'm sitting there and then I hear a whole bunch of arguing. And this is all a dream, you guys. I hear a whole bunch of arguing. And I'm like, what is going on? And there's a guy, like a gay guy, in the dream that lives upstairs from me, right? And he's arguing with an old white guy, right? And the reason he's arguing with this old white guy is something about, again, it's something about a rug, just like in the TikTok. It's something about a rug or something about him touching stuff that belong to him or something that the white guy is doing that's annoying him, right? So he's cursing him out, and it has something to do with him and his property directly, right? So the gay, tall, skinny black dude is cursing him out. I don't see him, but I know what he looks like because I live in the complex and I've seen him before and I know what he sounds like, right? And the white guy, I'm not sure, all the details about him. I think he's like one of the neighbors or whatever like that. So he's cursing at him, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, okay, this is just loud and rowdy. I'm going to mind my business. But then from there, it just gets crazy where I hear him say, I can't wait till you get back or something like that. He's going to whip his what. And so there's a lady that lives across from me in her dream. We live like on the second floor or on the floor under this black guy, right? I don't know if we're actually on the second, could be a third, fourth, I don't know. But it was a bright, beautiful, sunny day. Kind of like my day was yesterday, and kind of like all the days are here in Valdosta, Georgia, in the fall season. So there's a lady that lives across from me, a little bit older, probably like 55, 60, brown, short haircut, like an old Halle Berry haircut. And she's white, like her skin tone is white, like pale, pretty white, little bit of Applejack color to it. And so next thing I know, I hear, oh, there you are, I'm gonna F you up. Guy comes running out of his apartment. I hesitate a little. I go open the door. The older Hispanic lady across me, she took off running down the stairs. And I was like, wow, she's moving faster than me. But it was a false alarm. I get down the stairs to the bottom floor eventually. And this all a farce. The guy was talking all that crazy stuff. But when I actually got there, he started pretending like he was fighting. Like, yeah, he was being loud, but wasn't nothing going on, and he was not being as aggressive as he was. He was sounded loud and aggressive, but what he was actually saying was something different. And the Hispanic lady got mad and was laughing at him like, oh, he a punk, and came back upstairs because he really thought he was going to do she really thought he was going to do some harm to the old man. I did too. I didn't get all the way down where I could see, but, by the time she was coming back, I was like, okay, it's done, stupid. So I walked back upstairs to my apartment again. Went inside. So next thing I know, I hear a whole bunch of commotion, like things moving, being bumped around, whatever. So eventually I come outside. I see what looks like the gay guy to me and a friend of his. He has a friend with him. And for some reason, even though the guy sounded kind of gay to me, maybe he was bisexual, I don't know. But it was a female friend. Attractive, cute girl, 18 to 20 something, little short, so on, whatever. And she was helping him carry, and a ladder at some point in the dream. But I think in the dream, I started to walk down the complex because in the dream, there were some mailboxes that were like down this long street that led to my apartment in the complex. But it was like in the middle of that long street. So I was going down to check the mail, and to just be nosy kind of, right? So I went down the staircase to do that. On my way back is when I ran into the gay or bisexual guy with his lady friend, right? And they were carrying this ladder. And I was just like, oh, is everything okay? I hope everything's fine. They were like, yeah, blah, blah, blah. I didn't think nothing of it. So I went on to get to my apartment. But for some reason, at this part of the dream, my apartment, I noticed when I went to the ladder to go back to up into my apartment. Oh, this pissed me off so bad. It's just a dream, but it pissed me off so bad. But when I went to go to the ladder to get back to my apartment, it wasn't even a ladder. It was stairs. the stairs looked like they were disconnected at some point. I was like, that's weird. So I could almost move the stairs around. So I moved them a little bit. And it was a nice apartment. It wasn't raggedy looking, looked very new and updated. So I moved the stairs and I could see where there was a disconnect at one part, and somebody had taken, like, if y'all ever seen like a screw or something that looks like a corkscrew, they took one of those and tried to connect the two pieces of the stairs together, or either they were in the midst of trying to disconnect them. So I was like, I'm not down for all this crazy stuff. Let me just go on in the house. So I said, let me go ahead and try to walk across this thing, right? But then I was looking, I was like, no, that looks real raggedy. Like I could step on it and just like fall to the ground. I was 3 or 4 stories up at that point, and I was like, no. And then here comes the guy with his female friend, and they have this ladder. And I was like, be careful. I don't think those stairs work. And the guy's real tall. Like I said, he's got to be like over 6 feet, 6'2" to 6'5", something like that. The girl is taller than me, maybe 5'7", 5'8", right? And so I was like, because I think it probably won't hold over 300 pounds. And I know I'm like 200 at this point, And they were like, okay, whatever. And then when I looked as I was watching, they had this huge ladder. I was like, wait a minute. And I was like, did y'all do something to those stairs over there? And then, they were halfway answering first, and then basically he was like, the girl did it, his female friend. And she got mad and she was like, F this. And she broke the stairs. And I think that was kind of a lie. I think they intentionally did it, and they did it because they were going to make it so that the stairs, and basically I don't hardly come out the house, right? So that the stairs would not be available to anyone unless they used that personal ladder that they had, which it was like one of those 100-foot ladders, but it was one of those convertible ones where you could fold it into different types of ladders, right? For it to be 100 feet, you would have to flip it all the way out. And so that's what I kind of caught on to. So it pissed me off so bad. I couldn't even curse them out. I was just like so angry. I was like, did y'all do that? Did y'all do that? And I was like, let me just go down to the rental office. I didn't say that out loud, but I was so pissed off. That's where I was going, So I went downstairs on my way to the rental office. As I'm on my way to the rental office, this old white guy drives past me in this scooter that looks kind of like, the guy looks like Back to the Future, the old man in Back to the Future. This is the guy that the dude was trying to beat up on. He drives past me in this scooter that looks like a little spaceship, right? And I'm mad because he zoomed past me so fast, and that's who I needed to talk to. And the street leading from the apartment that I live in all the way at the back to the leasing office, which is all the way through the front where it's gated and whatever, it's like forever. And I'm like halfway there. And I'm just like, okay, I'm not going back now, because I would have to turn around and go back to talk to this dude that just zipped past me, and I kind of tried to wave him in, but he thought I was just waving and kept going. And so, I'm like, fuck it. I'm just going to keep going to the rental office. Somebody else will be there. I can give them the message to give to him. And then if I get back and he's still there, I can tell him personally, and I can call up there and give him the message too. So I get almost to the rental office, and there's a whole bunch of black girls. A lot of them are about my complexion or maybe a shade or two lighter, real kinky hair. Then there's another one that's ebony colored, like jet black, pretty short, fat face like mine, curly hair. And, for some reason we got into some type of little casual conversation about the rental office. And then I was just like, yeah, I need to talk to him, but he didn't zip past me, blah, blah, blah. So I get to the rental office, and then I'm pissed because when I get there, it's something that's going on that I can't access anybody, so I'm like, fuck it. So I'm going to walk back to my apartment. I didn't really want to walk all the way back, but I mean, at this point, I didn't have any choice. And there was something happened that right before I ran into those girls, some guy, and he was basically some guy that was with his girlfriend about my age in the dream. In my dream, I think I was about 38 to 45. I don't know. But he was an old scruffy looking dude. He looked old and scruffy. He was 38 to 45, but he had on like a wife beater and looked like he just got out of bed. And his wife was semi-attractive and had kids and stuff, right? And he said something smart to me when I was telling my story. And I kind of blew him off and said something half smart back and went on about my business, right? Then that's when I came across the girls in the rental office. And then so I started walking on my way back, and I really didn't want to walk all that way back because it was so long, empty-handed. But I started to do that. But I was so angry in that dream because, I mean, how are you going to dismantle a staircase
because you assume, okay, this girl don't hardly come out the house anyway, and you just don't want nobody up to where your apartment is. And then eventually I woke up and I saw the TikTok video was still going in the background, like looping over and over again. But that dream made me mad. It was so mad in the dream that even when I realized it was a dream, when I was dreaming, I wanted to stay in the dream just so I could tell the landlord what happened. But that's crazy. But yeah.